Good morning, everyone. So let's start the session today. So let me share my screen first. Can someone confirm if they are able to see my screen? Thank you. So, so the last session we had discussed about Maven project and the usage, right? And then just let me open earlier. On that day we had written some code. So same thing, just whatever we had written in our the Java project, we just copy pasted that class over here and we were executing, right? And at that time, seems like we were getting some errors as well. So wait, let me just rerun it. So your same application, whatever we had automated, the login test case, we are now able to execute it in Maven. And then there we see some error in the form file. So first, let me just right click, say Maven clean. So it does clean the target folder. So something when after the execution, Maven stores some sort of files in this target. And when we say Maven clean, so this target folder would be empty now. And that time later, let's say if we are executing something, so right click run on our the test class. So on that day we were also facing some error called class def not found. Yeah, today also, yeah, you see we are getting this. So sometimes we get this error because we just cleaned and Maven sometimes don't behave properly. So just now we executed and it was working fine, but now again once we did the mvn clean, we tried to clean the Maven folder, Maven artifacts. After that, again, it is not finding. So what we can do is just go to your POM file first, and then over here, there is some error that shows. So let's see what that error is first of all. Go to the overview tab. And here, if you see, could not resolve version conflict among. So the web driver manager that we had taken is what causing the error. So if you go here, yeah, this thing. So this one, whatever dependency we had taken is what not working properly. So let me just clear this. I'll remove it and then save. This error probably should go. Yeah, you see that error has gone. And now what I'll do is, even if I now try to execute, it might throw us the same error. No, it is working fine now. So yeah, this, so we have removed that, and now class def found error we are not getting, right? So after this execution, the other thing was, yeah, sometimes if it doesn't work, right click on this and you have Maven option over here and say update project. So you can update the Maven project as well. So some updates would be done in the background. So then you try to execute it and that error has gone, right? So you would be able to to this. So the other thing on that day we were doing is so we were just a second. Yeah. So on that day we were looking into the screenshots as well, right? So here there were two things. One is of screenshot and the other one is the Chrome driver. So screenshot, if you see, the code is what we had written. Just take screenshot driver. This is an interface. If you just mouse over on this, you would get this interface. So about this take screenshot, and the example usage is also shown here. So take screenshot of driver dot get screenshot as, we are asking it to get it as output dot file. So that file we are storing in a file variable, which is src file. So this file variable is coming from java.io.file. So we had defined this statement here. We are taking the screenshot with this particular step. So src file would hold our screenshot of whatever we have taken. And then the other one is what we are doing. If you see, so here we have defined another file variable, this new file of, and then we are giving the file path. So here file path, when we give, let me just refresh it. Yeah. So here what we have to do is basically we have to give the file path. So for giving the file path, what I would do is we can give again one particular location of our, so one particular location we can give, right? So what, any location if we want. Okay, in downloads, if we want, we can give it over here. Or else what I would say is, inside our project itself I want that screenshot. So what I would do is I would just say a dot over here starting with, which means it would refer to the project directory over here, and then dot this thing, and then I'm what, trying to create a folder under this project with screenshots, and then the screenshot name. So here what screenshot are we taking? So if you see, we can give some relevant name saying, okay, driver dot, after clicking on login button, the error message, right? So the name of the screenshot we can give as verify login error dot jpg, the extension of that file. So that we have to give it. And then once the file path is already defined, so this again, this thing you can, instead of giving it here, you can define a file variable file path thing, and then like this here, string from file path equals to this thing, and then this file path is what you can pass it directly here. And this variable wherever you want, even before the start of this, we can declare, right, anywhere we want. So we can declare it. So our file path is here that we are storing, and then we are passing it here. And next thing is we are doing file utils dot, next thing is the source file, we are just copying it to the destination file. So we have already created the new file where we want in our system at this particular location. This location is given already in this file path variable, right? So under this, which means under this project we are trying to create screenshots folder, and then in that we are trying to add a file called take the screenshot that file in this particular variable. So here, so this file is what, inside this we are trying to copy the source file that we have written. So with this statement you would be able to copy, and where this file utils dot copy is coming from, it is coming from org.apache.commons.io file utils. So this is the package, and that package, if you see in our form file, what we have to do is either take the Apache POI form file reference. So you already know from Maven repository here. So in this, you can search for Apache POI, and then you would get this. So you have this OXML. You basically need this two jar files for the Excel thing. So when you are dealing with Excel and you want to do something with Excel in from Java, you need these two jar files. So what you can do is click on this POI and take one 5.2.3 latest version. And here, if you see, you just want the jar file as well. Under this file section, you have jar. So if you click on this jar, the jar file would be downloaded. But here we don't want jar files. We want the dependency. So here in under Maven, we have this dependency. Copy this dependency, come here, and you can paste it. So you can paste the dependency over here. Same way, other dependency POOXML I said, right? So go to this, come here, take this same version of that, and then copy this POIOOXML is what we also need. If we need, sorry, so this thing we can add it here. So this way that jar files would be downloaded, right? Control A, Control I. So once this jar is downloaded, so this jar, what it does is internally, if you see under this Maven dependency, we need this, what was that, commons IO, this jar. So for our file utils. So that's why like on that day we were missing this jar file. That's why it was not giving us this suggestion. So what we can do is file utils dot, if you say, you would get all these things. So copy file, copy to directory, is file, all these methods, read, write, something, but we just want copy file. So use this copy file from source file to the destination file is what we can give it. The same way we have given here, right? So we are copying one file to other. One file is what, from the application, that screenshot we are taking as a file, that file we are copying in our location. That's it. So with this, or else if you don't take that, what you have to do is this jar or Apache commons IO is what you need to come here, search for commons IO. So commons IO jar, and then come here, org Apache, right? So better we need to see you. It is org Apache commons IO. Come here, take this, the artifact is moved to this particular location. Yeah. So here you can come and then take this jar and add that in the location, and then you don't even need to take Apache POI and OXML jar files. But I would suggest take that Apache POI OXML, because that file later in our projects, whenever we are dealing with, we are working on it, we would need it for Excel related stuff, right? And then, so with this particular step, so if you see, I'll just right click, refresh. I don't have anything here, screenshot thing. So I'll execute, and it should give us the screenshot of this error message. Wherever we have called this particular step, we need to get that screenshot, right? So if you see, now this screenshot we need to get with invalid credentials is what we are looking for. So if you go to our project, come here, just right click, refresh on this project, and you see there is one screenshot folder that is created, because here we have created the screenshot folder, right? And then inside this, there should be a file with this name. So if you expand this, here you would see this file. So wait, let me open this file. Just right click on properties. I'll go to this path. under screenshots, you have this file. So if I try to open this, this file would have that screenshot. You see that screenshot is been taken. So any doubts in this screenshot thing? So same way now, wherever you need the screenshots, what you have to do is, so after each and every step, if you need, so this statement, likewise, copy this. Let's say we want it after the login page, after the URL is loaded and when the username is being entered, let's say at that particular point of time, or after the password is being entered. After password, we want this screenshot, let's say here. So how to do? So if you see, we are getting some error here. Reason being, uh, we have the same variables again and again. So here src1, let's say one we are defining, and this one has also one, and again two file paths is what we need it. So file path 1 and 2, let's take this. So one I would uh, credentials entered is one screenshot that I'm looking for. Second thing is verify login. So file path 1 and file path 2. So here we want file path 1 because we need to take the screenshot after entering credentials, right? So that variable, or here itself in double quotes you define what path you want, and then file util copy this src1 to destination 1, right? Now same way here, src, let's take this as 2, and this variable is also 2. File path we have given in 2, and then this one from 2 you need to copy it to this to destination. Just save it. Now here if you see, I'll re-execute it, close this, right click, run as. Execution is done. Now if you go refresh this, so you would have the two files, credentials centers.jpg and this one. So in the location you would have this credentials entered is what the screen was this way, username entered. So it has taken screenshot quite fastly. That's why you kind of have to give some wait time, just because here if you see password was not entered, and then only but it says password thing is also done, right? Or did we do? No, password enter is here, right? So we are taking screenshot only after username is entered. So after password enter is what you want, then this step should be wherever the password is being entered. After that statement, we want that screenshot, right? Then it would give a screenshot after entering username and password. So likewise, wherever you need screenshots, you can take it. So we have a verify login error, this thing as well. So in this screenshot folder, again, you can create some date-wise folder or whatever it is, and then store those screenshots after execution. So this is how you can take the screenshot, right? And yeah, anyone has any doubts in this screenshot thing? Can someone confirm with yes or no if this is clear? So take the silence as everything is clear. And then the other step that I wanted to tell is this WebDriver thing. So here we were downloading, oh, where is that? Yeah. So this location, we had all the drivers, right? And Chrome, Firefox, whatever it is. Now, if let's say I'm not declaring it, and when I try to execute, you would get some error, right? If you see here, what we got, the path to the driver executable must be set by this thing. So we need to set the location, and then it's giving us some link to download that Chrome driver.exe. So these things manually we have to do it. Again, for Chrome, if we do Firefox, other browser, we have to do it, right? So instead of this, with the help of Maven, what we can do is uh, we don't have to declare these things. What you do is go to this Maven repository, and then here you search for something called WebDriver Manager, and then search for this. So here IO, this GitHub, this thing, if you click WebDriver Manager, and here you would have different versions. So take some version, I'll take the latest one. Come here, copy this. Once it is copied, go to your POM file under dependencies here. So you can add it somewhere under dependencies tag only we need to add, right? So under dependencies tag, wherever you want, you can copy it. I'll just copy it here. And then for indentation, I'll say Control A, Control I. So it moves in a nicer way. So this, once it is done, so it downloads, and then in Maven dependencies, that jar file would be downloaded. Now what you have to do is go to your class, and here, before writing this particular step, so instead of setting this property and giving the location of that exe file, what you can do is here you can use web driver manager dot Chrome driver is what, and then Firefox driver, we have other IE driver, whatever driver it is, this driver dot setup is a method. With it, this particular line, if you write, that's it. So internally, what it would do is it would take care of the Chrome driver. So through this jar file, whatever we have mentioned, it would just manage this Chrome file. So Chrome driver, whatever our Chrome version, based on that version, automatically it would download, and internally it would do it. So we don't have to do it. Now, once we write this step, we have already imported those jar file. If you see, so here if you see, that input is coming from this WebDriver manager. Once we have that, that's it. Now we were getting this error. Now with this statement, with that jar file, if we run, this Chrome driver related stuff would be taken care. We won't be getting that error, and Chrome browser would be launched. Right, this is done, and then you get screenshots and all. So here, now going forward, we don't even need to use this line. So we can remove it. Only thing is WebDriver dot Chrome driver dot setup, and then you don't have to download. See, now the advantage of the Maven project over the Java project is what? So if you see, where is our Selenium training here? So this was there, right? So in resources, we used to download these drivers, and we were downloading each and every driver and the jars as well. But with the POM, in the pom.xml itself, we just mention the dependencies, which jar we want. Automatically, while execution, it would download that jar in the location. So that location, if you see here, that location would be there. C users, user, M2. So all that jar files would be downloaded. So this now another advantage of this Maven is what this project now if you share with someone else, so they would take this project. With this project they would also get pom.xml, right? So once they build that project and when they try to execute any of this class test cases, so automatically Maven would download the all the required jar files in their system as well in some location would be, yeah, something just like this. So in their location as well Maven would download those jar files. So if we do it in this way, again and again we need to share this different jar files, different jar files and different files, and sometime later when the version is changed, again this thing won't be working fine, right? It would be throwing error even the jar files. So again manually we had to do it. So just to avoid those things, here if you just come and change the version, okay, uh, the Selenium server version is this you have taken, right? So if you want another version, so you come here 2 point something dot o. So whatever it is there, just check what version you want and change it here. That's it. So it would automatically download those jar files. So this is the advantages as of now that I would say about Maven. And then, so these are the two things. So anyone has any doubts in this Maven thing about the screenshot as well and this WebDriver that we had declared, used it. Here instead of this thing again you can give some file location as well. This things also you can do it. So uh, instead of this, so this way also you can give this location. But the disadvantage of giving this particular location is, so I have F directory and then Pradeep as a folder and some other folders that I have created, right? uh, but then if the user doesn't have this directory, the other one who has taken this project, and if they don't have that directory, then it would give some kind of error, right, in this particular location that this file path or the directory doesn't exist. So just to avoid this kind of conflicts, this kind of issues, we need to be we shouldn't be just giving something user specific, so it should be something general. So for that general we give this dot. So what this dot is referring to is the current project directory. So even the other user when it takes, so you that user would have this dot thing, and that dot would be pointing to his or her project directory, and then inside that project directory it would refer to screenshot and then this file. So like this. Or the other one is instead of this, what I can do is, so here we have system dot uh, get directory is also what we can do. System dot, let's say system dot get property, and then here if we say user dot dir, so it would give us the user directory, file path 3 I would say, let's say, and then this I would execute it, file path 3 or the user directory. So if we give this particular line of code, system dot user directory, and execute it, so here on the console you see this directory is being printed. So if you see here file path, so f, this whole thing till maven selenium, so this statement gives us that directory, and this directory uh, we can use this file path. So here, instead of this particular thing, we can give system.directory as well, and attaching this with again the further thing under this. So you want some screen shots folder as well. So this way also you can do. If you are not using dot, it's sometimes dot is not working. So system.get property of this user directory, and then inside that go to screenshot and then take that screenshot in this particular location. So this is about screenshot and the WebDriver manager and the Maven. Like the other thing that I would like to tell is, let's say, okay, here, let's say under this test resource folder, what I would do is I would try to create from here src test resources folder. Under this folder, I'll try to create some Excel file. So Excel files is what I do, and then here login app Excel. So here let's say I'm creating one Excel with the username and password. Username is admin and password is admin123 or just 12. Let's take this, save it. So I have one Excel file which I have created, and now here under this project only I've created. So under this test resources folder, so if I just refresh, come here, refresh it, you would see this thing. So this login file, this login we have this Excel, right? So how to read that Excel and use that code in our project. So if we have to see that, what I'll do is under this pack one is what I'll create read Excel data is what I'm creating. Come here and then so what's the first statement that we have to give for our file to read? So basically we had to create one file input stream which is coming from io java.io. So we want to create object of this particular file. So I will name it as fis equals to which is file input stream, and then equals to new file input, let it go. So file input stream is what we are giving, and here I'll give the uh, file file path over here. So the file path of this thing, if I have to say, so this would throw some declaration. You just click on this add throws declaration, file not found exception will get, or just use the exception. So all the exceptions would be handled. Anything you can take. So here inside this file input stream, I want to give the file path, file location of this particular thing. So till this, how to get this location? Just right click on this, properties, security, copy this file path. Okay, if I don't want files to be in this, so this, just to avoid some confusions, refresh it. So login app dot xls extension is already there. Come here, take this file path, copy, and then store this thing here. So we have given the file path of our file, and now this file input stream is what we have taken, right? Now next statement is what we have to create workbook factory. So workbook of that excel file. So excel file refers to the workbook, right? Again, so workbook, and then when you say workbook, try to use it from this particular package. So because there would be a number of packages available regarding related to this excel file as well, but take it from poi ss user model thing. So create a workbook with this particular package, because this package here, it would give us, so whatever the file extension is, either xlsx or the xls, the older versions, and then those files, uh, those both files would be supported by this particular package if we write it. Because some other code from some other package, if you take it, so that would again support only specific extension, like xlsx is one extension, so one extension only it might support, and some other code if you write, xlx is what it might support. So uh, but then internally again in that code we need to handle, if extension is something that, then use some other lines of code, else do some other lines of code. So that way you have to do, but just to avoid that, just take that create the workbook from this particular package. And once this workbook thing you have taken, so I'll give this name as say workbook wb equals to, then we need to create workbook factory is what we get again from the same packages ss. So if we get different one hssf, so these are different things, we don't need all those, we need only ss, and that to workbook factory. So I need to create workbook factory dot create is a method. So in this create is what we need to pass our file name. So if you see here, create and then file is what we can pass. So take this create, and then our file that we are creating is this fis. So pass that fis, that's it. So this two lines again, if you see, it would throw some declaration, and here if it gives some encrypted related this thing. So instead of all this stuff, I just say I want just exception, that's it. So everything would be handled. This file would give some other exception, this file would give some other exception, but all that exception is a parent, exception is a parent of all those things, right? So that's why I'm just declaring one, so we don't have to do it again and again. And other lines of code also, something exception comes, that would be handled by this thing. So this we have written. Next thing is when you do whatever workbook that you have created, dot, so dot, when you say in that workbook what all you can do, you have this get sheet at, index, sheet name, and visibility. So you have different stuffs here. So workbook dot, let's say I want to get sheet index or get sheet name based on index. So get sheet name, I want to just see the sheet name of my excel. So if I want that, so get sheet name or at what, first sheet name I want, so we pass 0 over here, and then this thing I'll just store in some variable, let's say so this would give string value, right? And this is uh, my excel sheet name at first location, something I've given. And now if I print this thing, this equals to plus of this. Now if I execute, so if you open this Excel login, so you have sheet 1. So close this. So this sheet 1 is what if we run, we would get that. Else instead of sheet, I would say orange HRM login is what I'm giving that sheet name. So I've changed this sheet name, save it, and then close. So if I execute now, it should give us that sheet name over here. Could not find something logger, you leave it. But here if you see, why he might have not, okay, not renamed the sheet. Let me rename it. I'll open this sheet. Close this. HRM login. Save it. Close. Come here. I'll execute again. So you see, if it is giving us that changed login. So you see here that login sheet name is coming. So workbook.get sheet name is what it would give us the sheet name, right? And then let's say I don't want sheet name, I just want to read those values, right? So how to read those values? So we would just point to our sheet again. So here we can get number of sheets as well, active sheets, all this methods. You just try to use it and then you would get something. So here what I'll do is, so here already we are pointing this to some sheet. Let's say get sheet at some particular location. So index so wise, in this index wise or the name wise as well, if you want. Get sheet, let's say get sheet of, and then sheet name. Sheet name, I'll just pass our sheet name. I'll just copy it. So I know I have that sheet, and then that sheet dot when I do. So I again get different methods inside that sheet. So inside that sheet, what all we can do, we can see if uh, how many rows are there, how many columns are there, or a specific column data if we are looking for is what we can give that one as well. So how to give that? So inside this, if you see get columns, get first row number, you have different methods here. Is selected, row, remove, set, right? So in this sheet, we want to get the data for this. So what we'll say is uh, get row, and then we can say get row of whatever the row number is. Here we'll say let's say 1, and then get row of 1 we have, and then inside this dot get cell again. So inside this again, we let's say we will take 1, and that uh, dot, if you say we have different values over here. So get string cell value. So whatever that cell is, so if it is numeric, we need to say get numeric cell value. If it is some date cell, we can say date cell value, get cell value. Or we know it is string, right? Username and password are strings, and there we have given string only. So we'll say get string cell value is what this we will store in a variable called data from Excel variable, and then this variable I'll just try to print. So we'll see at this particular location what cell value are we getting, equals to this thing, control Z. So execute quick Java application. Now here on the console we need to get that value. So if you see over here, you see admin12, because we have asked for what, first row first cell. So first row in the sense it refers again indexes would be from 0. So this is your 0, this is your first row, this is second row, third row, fourth row. So just -1, right? So when you save uh, this thing, what is this, row of 1 in the sense it refers to this is 0, this is 1. And then in this again your cell you have said 1. So this is 0 cell, this is first cell, this is second cell, third cell. So likewise you have said 1 1. Now let's say if you want this admin, how to give that? So this is your first row, but the cell would be 0. So if you see here, you can get this, or again multiple values if I want. So this one, for I'll say username. Okay, username. So username value would be referring to first row, but the cell value should be 0. And the next one I would say password. So password would be first row first cell. And then that both, if you just want to print it, you can print. So username is equals to this. I also wants to print password inside this. So in just one line, that's why I'm giving this way, plus password. So I'm just printing it here. Now when I execute, it should give me username equals to so and so, and the password is so. You see, username is admin, password is admin12. Now in this thing, if you just change something, update some value, and then save it. So whatever the dynamic value is been set, if you just try to get those things, see the updated value is coming. So say this is how you can read Excel in this. And now the same thing, the same code is what you can. So I won't be printing it, but I would store it here and say copy. So in our test case, we were giving username this way and password here, right? So instead of this, we would read it from Excel. And to read it from Excel, what we'll do is before opening, or before wherever we want, before this step or start of this method itself, I want uh, this Excel code. So here you can write comment saying reading value from Excel, reading Excel, and getting it. So this line, till this line is what Excel done. So some kind of messages you can set it for yourself, saying okay, this particular line of code is to get the value from Excel. I didn't copy the complete code. I did right here. So here, where is Excel sheet? Okay, sorry. Complete code is still here. So username and password. Now this username and password, username would hold this value, password would hold this value. So this value is what we want to pass in our script. So come to this particular script, by.username, wherever you are entering username. So I don't want to pass this hard coded value. I want to pass this from Excel, and Excel is what this variable would hold Excel value, right? If you see this one, it tries to get this thing from there and then it reads it. The same way for password. So I don't want to pass this password thing here. Instead of this, I want to store this in, I have already copied a variable called password. So this password variable would hold my value from Excel. Now, if you execute, then this application would take that value. So just carefully see what username it is going to enter. Yeah. Some error it was happened. Let me close this, rerun. You see, admin DSG it had entered in the screenshot also, if you can see, and then the password. So whatever we had given here. So now it has given us error screenshot. Here, if we just change it to proper credentials, so admin and then admin 123 is the correct credentials, right? So is small. So this, if we just save it here, save, and then after execution we shouldn't be getting error screenshot, we should be getting what, the logged in screen. So I've just saved it that in the Excel, and here I've nowhere given that value set. So we are reading it from an Excel and then I'm executing it. You see, admin has given and password also it has given, and it is logging, and we have got the logged in screen. So in our script, nowhere we have given that thing. And then here we are what, just trying to verify, and something would fail basically, because here we are trying to get an element, this thing, right? So verify login error. Here we were expecting actually the law error one, but we are getting the logged in screen. So that's why. So this is uh, about getting the data from an Excel. So anyone has any doubts? Let, let me stop the recording.